grind because sitting in grand finals is the team that we were just watching, Northwood. They're even with UIUC already through the weekend. They've got a back-and-forth record throughout this season of crew battles leading up to this event. And on the other side, MSUA also has been knocked down into loser's side by Northwood, so they both have a lot to come back to going to grand finals, but they have to test each other first in losers finals with everything on the line.
It's such a huge moment for both of these schools. They both want that run back, that rematch against Northwood. And it's interesting, too, because Michigan State, this A squad, came in as the #1 seed. When we made these pools, they were our top seed, but they got knocked down early by Northwood, who was a 4 seed. And UIUC, they got off to a slow start for the day, but they have heated up since. Their players have really come into their own as of late. Burst, in particular, with their performance in singles, has really had a fantastic run through this weekend. But we'll have to see how that matches out here because, again, this is losers finals. This is do or die for these two teams to have their chance, to have their shot at grand finals on the big stage.
Yeah, it's so intense. I mean, Burst actually winning singles all out in grand finals, and with a quickness to it, his Sephiroth was absolutely shutting down the plethora of Roys that we had going through top 8, or at least the two of them. Felt like so many more with Revolver and Frostbite just wrecking through so much of the competition, but they just couldn't keep it up against Burst, who is a real big crown jewel to UIUC. Unfortunately, he was not able to stick it out against Northwood, so now in loser's side. He is also backed by Kirby 509, a big representative in the top 8 as well throughout yesterday in singles. But MSUA is not lacking in talent as well. Dice on the Falco was really amazing to watch as well.
Dice made top 8 of that singles bracket as well, and there were a lot of players that came very close. Hawk went down to the wire against Kirby to qualify for top 8.
He had amazing matches yesterday.
Last stock, last hit against that Olimar, and if one move went differently, it could have gone either way. Hawk was that close. So Michigan State, they had a ton of players, right? They brought 2 teams, and numerous players from their squads got that close to being that, on the main stage, but just a little bit short. So a lot of talent on this Michigan State squad. Curious to see what the lineups will look like going into this matchup. But UIUC also no strangers, right? Like you mentioned, Kirby's been playing fantastic, and they've really been on the grind on this Olimar. They have a number of matches. I feel like if we had the chance to go through and look at all of the matches they've had to play, I feel like they've had to play the most. I feel like they've just gone to game 5 against just about everybody. But we'll have to see how they do in this battle in particular. Also, you got players like Fade stepping into this lineup, aka Queen Vamp, who have really come into their own, especially in that singles bracket. That Bayonetta looked fantastic. We didn't get to see them at the start of the day for UIUC, but they will be playing here in this crew battle, and that is a whole nother weapon for Michigan State to have to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know quite all of the UIUC players we have right now. They filled out all of their extra spots, so using 5 in the match for their 15 stocks to count all up, 3 each. They've got a couple extras on the sidelines. They added it was at least Noodle
the Wii Fit. There was SVP also in the lineup on that Inkling who you saw moments ago go up against Northwood. And there's one other on there. I believe it was a Rob player if I'm remembering correctly. But either way, UIUC, the hometown team, they've got a full roster. They've got 7 players here, so if they want to make some substitutions between each set, they can. A reminder that this is a best of 3 here in losers finals, so if one crew battle ends, it's not the end of the world for the losers side. They would have to win the next 2, though, which is a tall task.
Yes, grind. You got to take down 30 stocks without losing 15 in either of those reset games, so that is a tedious fight to make, but I think if anyone's up to it, it's these 2 teams. And they're starting to get ready here, closing up on that first game. And it looks like it's Noodle from UIUC coming out as our starter. So we'll be seeing some Wii Fit right off the bat, just like we saw in the last match, because we saw Noodle and So Good Pup both up in that same match. So those 2 have been doing a great job throughout the tournament. I mean, I've been seeing them just have amazing games all the way through the beginning of Friday. These 3 days straight of these 2 players just running through brackets.
These players have been on the grind all weekend long. Not only have they been preparing for this event, but also on top of that, you know, you look at these players and the weekend that they've had, everyone showing up here very early to start every single day.
Yeah.
It's like we show up to prepare for these events, you know, starting at 10 a.m., but they're here at 9 o'clock already setting up, already playing, and already getting those hands warm. And everyone here on stage, hands already warm and ready for this crew battle. Like you mentioned, Noodle likely stepping in the lineup here first for UIUC, the Wii Fit. An interesting character because it feels like this character's got a lot of potential, but we don't frequently see it. There's not a ton of Wii Fits that we see really make those large leaps, especially in crew battle formats. So to see that open up here, very intriguing to see who Michigan State have locked in for that opening match.
Yes, we've got Hawk, and he is indeed locking in Rob, as we would expect from him. This is a little bit of an interesting matchup. They both have quite a bit of zoning potential, but absolutely the ability to box when it comes down to it. Starting out Pokemon Stadium 2, a reasonable place to go, not a stage we get to see very often, right?
Classic Starterville here for the side of UIUC, I believe, ending up getting this stage pick. But either way, first match of losers finals here of this best of 3 crew battle. Noodles Wii Fit already putting in a lot of work, quick 84% delta up. Also, with that deep breathing, continuing to chip away at this stock. And that's one of the big concerns I have with this matchup, is that Hawk is just such a big body, and that is something Wii Fit can exploit.
Yeah, he's done a great job of just following Hawk around, not giving him any quarter. Noodle is a little bit more warmed up, having come off of a competitive set just now. Not necessarily playing all of them or the last match, but he's already had some time up here on the stage, and Hawk's got to catch up with that. He's got this back throw, looking for a low option with his neutral B, but doesn't get in. The Nair drags him down, but he's able to escape.
71% right now onto Hawk. Make that 80 with the gyro in hand for Noodle. Noodle just doing a great job of mitigating the amount of damage they are taking in the process of all these kind of range projectiles. But right now, Noodle with stage control. They'll get forward aired away. Gyro, I like the angle there, lingering, making sure that that low recovery was not as safe as it looked. Now stalling out along the ledge, but the timing by Noodle on that down tilt, perfect.
Yeah, he just cannot vary the up B recovery quite enough. There's a lot you can do with it, but the timing's all just going to come down to what Noodle can work with. It's like recovering in a 2-frame. You just have to rely on your opponent. Missing it, the up smash is going to pick up and do away with the first stock from UIUC. Hawk gets this one, stalling up at the top of the stage. His top is away, but he's able to take it back with his Nair, and now he's looking for some fares of his own.
For something here, pressuring shield. Soccer ball will land. He'll pick up the gyro as well. Just mitigating the amount of use of that gyro. Feels like, you know, when you're going up against Diddy Kong, you want to be or have the banana in your possession. It feels like Noodle's got the same game plan here. Get that gyro to be yours to use. Don't allow Hawk to set up that gyro combo.
Hawk just can't manage to land something off of these. Ooh, forward airs. He's doing a great job of landing in neutral. He's looking for a down tilt roll read, but he didn't get it there. And a little more damage trading back and forth. This dash attack looks a little scary, especially if a soccer ball were to careen past and hit Hawk, especially close to the blast zone here. He's setting up his top, looking for an opportunity to close in Noodle, and that's exactly what it's going to do, allowing for a great full hop up air.
Falling up air means last stock apiece, but it's quickly taken off the board. It's going to be Noodle's forward air that takes down Hawk, and that's the first member of Michigan State off the board.
Yeah, a respectable start there for Hawk as well. He was able to get a stock right before going down himself. That's a big thing to get, especially if you're already at 134%. You really want to give that value to your teammates, because only getting one stock, despite putting so much damage on Noodle, it feels a little bad, and you start losing a little bit of pressure there. So the tempo is still keeping as even as you can. Someone's got to go down one in this first matchup. That's just the reality of it. You can't both die, so you can't have a 3-3 in the start.
We'll have to see who Michigan State opts to lock in next. When you look through their lineup, Hawk off the board, Dice another option. You've got Linus, or Linus, I believe, is the or is how you pronounce that tag. Rosa, Minmin, and Bowser is what we've seen from them this weekend. Crash on the Terry has been very good, and then suspects Kazuya and Diddy Kong have really put in work this weekend, especially to get Michigan State to this point. Suspect had a very strong start to the day. Dice, we mentioned earlier, with the the big bracket run through singles, and they also started off Michigan State very hot. They were the opening match of crew battles, and they took, I believe, 10 out of 15 stocks in the opening battle. So Dice has been locked in all weekend long. When you're going up and you need one stock off of this Wii Fit trainer, is there a character on that list that kind of sticks out to you?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd even be picking around the Wii Fit trainer. I think right now, while MSUA is up there contemplating thinking about what the game plan has to be, they have to think about not just this next match, not just this one stock that they have to take off of Noodle, but they're contemplating what the end game plan is. If they choose Dice here, well, what's going to happen from UIUC? Who are they going to bring out? So they have to do a lot of this deep thinking, especially when so much is on the line. I mean, they're guaranteed third place at this point, but they have the potential of going all the way to first still.
Very much so. It is a long grind to get there, though. When you look at the lineup for UIUC after this Wii Fit trainer, you've got Burst, who we mentioned has a whole pocket full of characters. Kirby's been rocking the Olimar all weekend long. Isohel's Link has looked very, very strong. And then Cypher was the name that we missed out on last time, but his Falco has also been very strong. So there's a potential for a Falco Ditto later. SVP.
That would be really amazing. I would love to see that. Cypher versus Dice.
Especially with the way those two Falcos have played, because we talked about Dice. It feels like he is very much locked in on getting those up tilt combos, but Cypher feels a little bit more read heavy in getting those kind of forward air drag downs instead. Feels like Cypher is more about kind of the free flowy creative, whereas Dice is very bread and butter.
Yeah, I love that consistency from Dice. It really just creates value every single time he's going up against his opponent. And Cypher is a little bit of an enigma to me. I never know what Cypher's going to be doing out there. Anytime I'm watching his matches, I'm just ready for a surprise.
We'll have to see. We're going to get surprised as to who this next player is for the side of Michigan State. They'll be locking in that player momentarily, but it is just the opening match for them today. But they've been, like we mentioned, playing off stream, grinding friendlies until this very moment, so their hands are warm and ready to go. But it has to be hard, right, to play at your first match of the day against a team that is already warmed up from that winner's finals.
Yeah, absolutely. And UIUC was playing pretty darn hot. Dude, still losing narrowly to Northwood there in the end. It was a 2-0. Close 2-0. Gotta add the caveat, of course.
Total of stock differential there. That last game was, a 2 stock. I think the one before that was also a 2 stock. So
yeah,
maximum 4 stock difference in 2 crew battles. That is crazy good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So continue on this, like, loser side here.
Right.
Stakes are getting high, and UIUC, brand new here, but MSUA has had to take match on loser side already to get to this point, so they're a little more used to that pressure that's been put on them.
Yeah, very much so. As when you look at the runs that both of these teams have had, you know, Michigan State, again, their only loss was to Northwood on that winner's semi side, and on the flip side, UIUC, while they dropped down, you know, off of that last loss on winner's side, they've been so good, so consistent to get to this point. The Rosa Luma on screen tells me that this is Linus stepping into the ring, and this is actually, I think, the first time all weekend that Linus has opted to go with Rosa and Luma. They've been typically going Min-Min. In singles, they were going Bowser for a lot of their matches, so I have to see how Rosa Luma is ready here against Noodle's one-stock Wii Fit.
Yeah, it's going to be bringing some consistency to the team. A lot of extended hitboxes, making it really hard for Noodle to get back to the stage. Landing on the platform, though, he's going to take some trades with Luma, trying to stop deep breathing, but it still goes off, unfortunately. We'll say sayonara to Luma as he heads off down off the bottom of the stage to return another time.
Back throw. Won't be able to get too much off the back of it, though. Going for the down air, but well timed by Noodle to get off of that ledge. Falling there will lead to some combos, and once again, Luma knocked away momentarily, but still on stage. The back hit of forward smash will knock Luma away, but Linus, good positioning, able to punish. Trying to find a way to stall out here. Clipped by the up B, and now things start to get a little dangerous as Luma is gone now. So Linus, all that kill power off the table here. They're gonna have to find something really strong, a good read, and they will find it with the up smash there. Able to take down Noodle and tie up our stock count once again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's big right there. Linus making sure not to lose a stock before taking away that one from Noodle. That's exactly what you want. You don't want to be, well, you want to even it up. That's exactly what it's going to be. We're back up to a 4-player even split across both teams. 12 stocks on the board. So nothing too concerned to be about there. Noodle is looking to find any bonus there. He doesn't really expect too much, but if he can win out that 1v1 pretty quickly, find a stock, that's great. 2 of them would be crazy good, but just not in the books for him on this one. We're seeing a little bit of contemplation over here in the UIUC dugout as they contemplate who exactly is going to be going up next.
Should be interesting to see because, again, Rosa Luma is such an interesting character to deal with. It feels like they just play a different game at times than the rest of the cast. So when you look at this UIUC lineup, they're going to have to consider not only how do we deal with this Rosa, but like you mentioned, down the line, down the depth chart. who else could be, who else is the issue that they're going to have to deal with. And we'll have to, that is what they are debating at this very moment. UIUC, again, a very strong run, taking down numerous top seeds. They were seeded second overall when we made the pools in the first place. And again, fantastic run through pools, getting all the way to that winners finals. And that was the first game that they dropped, was to that Northwood squad moments ago. So already coming this weekend, playing very hot, and we'll have to see who they opt for. Again, their depth a little bit larger than MSU, because MSU, they brought 2 teams, but there's no substitutes on those teams. So they have that ability to kind of flex their lineup and play around with a couple different iterations. And it looks like, based on who's walking up to stage, I believe that is Fade.
Yep. Yeah, and that is interesting because UIUC, in addition to having those 2 extra players that they can sub in and out as they need and as they choose, they also have quite a few players that have a variety of characters that they can play at a very high level. So that does add a little bit more flexibility to them. I think strategically they have one of the things in the back of their mind is they know there's a Kazuya on the other side of the team, and no one on that team has a great matchup into Kazuya. He's a really strong character, taking a forefront place in the meta, of course. So as far as I heard earlier while they were talking to me about this a little bit, Kirby 509 is pretty much their go-to solution for Kazuya. Not the only one who can deal with the character, of course.
Right.
But they want to keep him as an ace in the hole and make sure they've got that counter later on, and thus I think it's going to be hidden a little bit from MSUA.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, right, when you look at your opponents and you do that kind of scouting, you try and come up with the answers, and you try and get to that point where you can get to the comfort matches, right?
Yep.
So if that is the case, and they want Kirby to match up against that Kazuya suspect for the side of Michigan State, that's a whole other factor to consider. Is, do you try and send them in early? Do you hold the Kazuya back a bit? That's a whole other mind game for Michigan State to play. That being said, Rosa versus Bayonetta here as we get ready for, well, match number 3, I guess, or second players for both squads.
Yeah, kind of a funny match. It's a Smash 4 matchup, actually. 2 characters that were solid high tiers and, well, Bayonetta something much more earlier in Smash 4. But have kind of fallen to that mid-tier area throughout this game. Still capable of quite a bit. I mean, we've seen a lot from both of these players on both these characters, and some others rocking the same lineup as well.
We get ready for this matchup. Small battlefield, the stage selection here, and I'm curious to see how Queen Vamp goes around this playstyle, because we saw Queen Vamp's combo game yesterday in the singles pools was fantastic, especially against the heavyweights, who are those nice tall hitboxes. And Rose is pretty tall, but how do you deal with Luma? How do you get through this defense? In theory, things like the guns should do the trick, but we've seen Linus's defense come up clutch numerous times.
Yeah, it is pretty difficult to break this neutral, especially with Luma up front to break any gunshots and slow down, put you in any hit stun from trying to approach with side B. It's very difficult for a character that already doesn't have an amazing approach. That up air is not going to quite land for her, so Vamp ended up getting grabbed out of this one, unable to find that in against Linus.
Yeah, 90% though on Queen Vamp right now. Really struggling to get the combo game going. Rapid jabs will continue to chip away at this percent, and especially with Luma on the table, this is really kill percent for the side of Queen Vamp. They've got to be very careful in their decision making, picking and choosing when to weave in. They're able to just run up, get a grab, knock them off stage once more. Lance should be able to make it back, but Luma gone now. Back throw, won't be able to do the trick quite yet. That will be a kill throw eventually, but it's going to take a long time for it to get there.
There we go. Bats within is exactly what she wants right there. Just going to get hit by the forward air, though. It's going to keep a little bit more distance, and Queen Vamp not quite able to close up the space despite it being a very small stage. Blind's doing a great job of keeping Luma way out in front of him. Ooh. Okay, space is going to be kind of broken there, but Luma is able to fall right back down, just keeping constant hitboxes out. It makes it so hard, once again, for a character with limited recovery, or neutral closing options.
Yeah,
She's got plenty of recovery options.
Yeah, plenty of recovery options, but maybe a chance here. Good ladder up will help chip away at that percent, but no killing blow able to be landed quite yet. It feels like at this stage of the game, Queen Vamp is really looking for some kind of overextension, and there, just a shield drop back air will do the trick. And so stock number 1 off the board, and despite the early deficit, Queen Vamp has battled back and taken the lead.
All right, looking at this combo started, ending a little bit early with the up air, and that's calculated actually because Luma is a combo breaker. You can just throw out like any normals. Whoa, while in the air, and Luma will put out a little hitbox, and that will knock Queen Vamp out of her side B and her up B going into the combo. We saw earlier on a combo that was really starting to pop up for her this time. Ended up on the other side of Luma though, so these forward airs get to land on their mark, adding a quick 87%, and she's still going. Up air still gonna hit on the last hit, but it doesn't get anything more than that.
That was dangerous though. Good witch time, and this is a forward smash, and that's gonna be the stock taken away. Another one down, and Linus on to their last one. The lead back in UIUC's favor. What can Linus do about this? They've got stage control. They're pressuring once again, but Queen Vamp again able to sneak in, weave around this space, and good parry though is going to lead to some damage.
Well, I guess just a throw, playing kind of slow here. Linus is really seeking to keep that mid stage and just keep distance, especially after seeing what can happen with those last two stocks of his, which have evaporated right quickly.
Good forward airs being landed. There's a lot of good damage, especially with Luma off the table. Do they get him off the top? Maybe. Kill
no way, no way. Oh, right to the corner.
Almost there. The Nair to help get even more damage, but there's the back air, and that's going to be the stock, and Queen Vamp with a huge victory. 2-stock lead now, headed to the fight in Illini.
That's an amazing start right there. After one stock taken by Linus, he's just basically shut out. He's able to take one off of Queen Vamp, but he's having a hard time keeping pace, especially when she got that read. And I guess that early difficulty that she was having, really not finding any ins until basically 100%. It was just all getting the download on neutral. And you look at those back airs, huge call-outs to the extended Luma plays, because you can actually just close up that as long as you make sure to parry, or you can just roll past Luma. That actually puts you right in the perfect range to get a back air right into Rosalina's head.
Huge plays. Those back airs coming up clutch. But again, like you mentioned, just the download after that first stock, it looked very, very rough. They're up to 160, I believe, when they took that first stock off of Linus, and that is a huge turnaround to be able to survive at those high percents. Because again, this is a format where once you get the victory, your stock resets back to 0. So now all that extra damage that had been dealt gets reset. They were only at about 54 by the time the game ended, but it just felt like after that download had been completed, there was just not really much that Linus could do. All that chip damage that they were able to get seemingly gone by the wayside, and the combo game starting to come online, and we all know how dangerous Bayonetta's combo game can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was really phenomenal from Queen Vamp, is finding ways to get those combos off still. And you have to be really careful, especially. She was spacing her side or her up Bs, making sure that she'd come out of side B, waiting a little bit to DI, and try and get on the side where Luma isn't. That way it's going to be a lot harder to end up getting hit. And she was really smartly stopping combos a little bit earlier in order to take the stage back and wait to catch Linus's landing options. Even if you're not going to get the full damage of your combo, you can still get something more and keep that dominance over the stage. Well, Linus, he's got really slow float speed. Rosalina is one of the floatiest characters in the game, so it's kind of hard for her to land really safely.
Yeah, the decision making again of picking and choosing when to extend the combo, when to pull back, when is enough, and then being able to pull back. Even the call outs too, like you mentioned, for Queen Vamp. The fact that getting that witch time on the platform was really a huge turning point, right? Getting that first stock off the board was such a massive momentum swing because of the early lead that Linus had. Now we get ready for the next match here. Suspect entering the ring, and that's the Kazuya we mentioned entering on Town and City.
Yeah, so he's got 2 stocks to take here up against Queen Vamp, and then he'll get his reset, is what he's looking for at this point. Timer going down, and they're ready to go. Town and City, a pretty intense one for these two to be at. Get a command grab right off the bat, and that's a neat 40% for Suspect. He's going to be keeping some space. Ooh.
Oh my mercy, so many strong hits are landing right now. Nearly the down smash too, and that could have likely been the stock. So Queen Vamp got to be very careful. Once again, an early deficit, 107 here. Has to find a way to battle back, trying to get some chip damage, but they get grabbed for it. Up throw, won't be able to kill quite yet, but the laser will connect again and nearly do the trick. 150 now on this Bayonetta, but how do they get back to stage? High recovery from the ledge.
Looking for a little spin kick to down, or to 2-frame there. It's not going to quite come out for Suspect, though, and now Queen Vamp taking some more space. Yeah, that's a confirmed kill right there. Up be an amazing kill option for Kazuya. He's getting another grab right off the bat, looking to bring it into a Nair. Another one. We're going to just keep training that until we get to the end of the stage. It's going to finally stop as Queen Vamp finds her shield.
Got to be very careful. That shield coming up clutch, but the percent has evened out, but still a stock count in UIUC's favor for the moment. Can they get the stock? Can they hold this lead is the question. Suspect trying to say, no sir, not today. 92% on this Bayonetta and so much kill power in Kazuya's kit. They nearly call out that side B with the up smash. Now a grab coming through on the other end. 90% onto Kazuya. Good follow-up though, and that should be the follow-up into the up smash. That's the stock, and that is a tie game once again.
Yeah, some real dominance there from Suspect just as Fade came out, blazed through a couple stocks. Suspect has done just the same, and he'll be waiting fresh with 3 stocks as he's evened this one up.
Suspect looking very, very strong on this Kazuya. And the combo game, right? It's one thing to know Kazuya's combos, it's another thing to execute them because of the potential mix-ups that you can get. But you saw bread and butter online for Suspect, and the damage can just so quickly rack up with this character.
Okay, well, not as we were suspecting earlier with Kirby 509, we thought might be that counter to Suspect's Kazuya. And Suspect does have a multitude of characters that we've seen over the course of this weekend. He's going with the Kaz, and he's going to be locked into it as per crew battle rules. So that will be the option, and it makes it a lot easier for Burst to choose exactly what he wants. Another player of multiple characters here, and really man of the day today, having just finished up a winning grand finals of singles already. So he's got, he doesn't have that much to prove. I mean, he's proved himself already. So now he's just showing up for the rest of the team so he can bring up his teammates to victory as well. So Suspect has a tough matchup here, especially in the dead even 3v3. This is a big one to win, though, if he is able to take down Burst. That would prove a lot for himself.
And I was curious to see what character Burst would opt to go to. We've seen Sora, we've seen Sephiroth from them, but here we get to see the Cloud against this Kazuya here on PS2, though, and it's Suspect already landing some early damage here. Burst gonna have to be very careful, right? That's one of the things that Suspect has proven very strong at, getting that one opening and just exploding that damage.
Forward air landed there, connecting right into a down tilt, a back air, and he's just going to keep this going, connecting with the stage, throwing out his beam laser to see if he can find anything more, and up smash is going to cover that entire platform. It's not a great place for Suspect to be landing. He's got to watch out for it. Another up smash goes out as he just will not let Suspect back to stage.
Rage Drive, though, also online here, so this could be a kill at potentially the right angle, but the up B, wow, turning things around there. Thought he'd be able to snap the ledge, but instead hits Cloud off stage, but now maybe a chance here for Burst to make something happen. They get the back air. Kazuya stalling out, able to snap back to the ledge, gets a grab. This should be, no, able to mash out. Thought he'd go for the back throw instead, but doesn't have the time to do so. Another up B out of shield gets blocked, and both looking to make a play here. Maybe the follow-up, no, doesn't pull the trigger on anything quite yet.
Suspect has not quite been able to fully capitalize it with that kill that he is searching for, but Burst just keeps landing some unsafe options on shield. Forward area on shield actually gives quite a bit of time to Suspect. Yeah, especially if he's looking for command grabs coming out of it, or even but they might have potential for a wind punch coming on out. Full charge up for Burst right now. Suspect is happy to wait it out. It is on a timer, so he can just wait and force the option out earlier, just as Burst ended up using it earlier. But he's now boxed off Suspect into this corner. He's using forward airs to cover so much ground, but that down air is going to be a mistake, allowing Suspect to close the ground, but he's still back out on the platform.
129 here. You got to feel like this stock might be running out of time, but Burst right now doing such a good job playing defense, just shutting down any approach from Suspect. And Suspect knows they've got to find a way to take the stock offline soon. Rage Drive online, but they get down aired away. How do they land against this fast Cloud? They're able to get around that limit cross slash, but at 133, a low recovery will be once again forced here. How does he get back to stage? Turn around there, knocks him off, and no limit online, so Burst will just fall to his demise, but it's quickly answered via the back air, and UIUC is back in the lead.
Yeah, Burst looking pretty comfortable here. That's a rough SD to have. He just ended up jumping late, I think. I think he still did have jump. Or maybe it was stolen on the way down. That would have been pretty unfortunate for him, but those will just happen to players at any level of plays. Putting on so much pressure against Suspect's shield now. Not any punchable stuff until he pushes up too far with that down tilt.
Dangerous spot, able to make it back to stage. And it feels like you can feel the tension between these two players. This match means so much, especially with the number of participants and number of players dwindling down, knowing how close they are to that grand final. Suspect trying to find something here, but they are shut out from center stage. Burst doing such a good job of controlling the pace of this match.
That was amazing recovery right there from Burst. He actually uses up B early because there's a lot of risk in that side B coming out, and he called it out really quickly. And there's basically, that was the only option that was going to end up with him coming back, because he does have a lot of recovery options. He can stay out there for quite a while, and using the air dodge to get back that final last couple inches is very big. He evens up the stocks here. Some huge stuff from him. He's down basically 100% on Burst, but already taking 2 stocks is definitely a win for him.
Find something here. We'll see if he can clutch this out, but it's asking a lot. That being said, already dealt a quick 58, and he is shutting down any approach here from Burst on this platform. Nair gets parried, tried to follow him up, but there's that buffered roll dodge away. Now Rage Drive online. This is where things get very scary in the yellow. Maybe a chance here off the command grab. Almost, but not quite enough. And now Limit is online the other way, and he gets
no way, other corner, he's too heavy. It's not going all the way to the corner, though. Even he's still got plenty of time left in him. A parry, looking for the grab, is not going to quite land.
Oh my goodness, and it's going to be the dash attack. No, still not enough. Able to survive. Kazuya is very heavy, but it's not enough. The down air just before the ledge will catch Kazuya, and down goes Suspect, excuse me.
Yeah, that is huge. He's been looking for the down airs over the course of that entire game. Really hoping for it, and actually he ended up losing out the encounters twice for it. He got knocked down underneath the ledge because of the up B poking up above platform when he tried to do it. The nice thing about down air on Cloud is that it is a really long-lasting hitbox, and it's this extended hitbox, so you can just sit there, like basically pogoing on the sword while you cover the ledge, and it makes it really hard to get back. It can 2-frame, especially 3-frame against like teleportation characters, or really stop someone from just stalling out by the ledge. If they're running out their ledge invulnerability as well, you can cover that too. So it's such a great tool there. But Kazuya's up B pokes, so if you're not spacing quite correctly, you can end up seeing yourself dying for it.
We actually saw kind of the flip side of that, right? There was an up B earlier that Kazuya was able to sneak back onto stage and avoid that ledge and actually knock Cloud off stage. So that spacing, that timing, vital in a matchup like this. And that time around, Burst getting the better of it with that down air. So they have the lead headed into this next match, giving the Fightin' Illini a lead in this opening crew battle. And Michigan State, they're down to their final 2 members. Hawk and Crash have not been used yet for the side of Michigan State A. Hawk, we talked about the Rob that nearly made top 8 of that singles bracket and has been very good so far. And Crash, this Terry player, could be an interesting matchup against Burst and this Cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. And Burst is the player to be. I cannot overstate that enough. So Suspect already taking 2 stocks off of him is absolute stonks rising, feeling very good right there. There's a dawning matchup to be looking for. You can see that in his face as he gets up there, gives all the fist bump, and we get ready to get into our 4th player from MSUA.
I believe this is Crash stepping up to the ring here for the side of Michigan State. So this is the Terry that is going to be likely locked in to go up against this Cloud. And Terry, when I think of Terry, I think of the go meter. I think of winning neutral 2-3 times, and all of a sudden your opponent's at kill percent, they lose 1 more neutral interaction, and they are just dead for it. And Burst does not have a whole lot of wiggle room with only 1 stock in entering this matchup.
Yeah, and of course that's the exact same game plan that Kazuya has.
Right.
We were just watching. They're both called Shoto characters. They have a very certain game plan. They really want to stay grounded as much as possible and use their crazy, crazy burst options and combos to just tear away the stock. So if he's able to have anything near the success of Suspect, then I think he'll be sitting in a good spot going forward.
I feel like one of the big emphases on this matchup in particular is the battle on stage, because I feel like the game plan for both of these two is get them off stage. I don't want this character anywhere near these platforms, because when these two are off stage, it's so easy, I feel like, for both of these players to take advantage of that, you know, trap them at the ledge, get something. Like we talked about, the down air is probably going to beat out that Terry up B. And on the flip side, right, Cloud's recovery without limit, very, very short, so not a whole lot of distance. And while it's harder for Crash to cover, he certainly has the capability to do so.
Once again, a lot of shield pressure coming out from Burst right off the bat. He's got the Buster Sword. We can just swing around on someone who's holed up in their shield. But it's going to be all regen by this point for Crash, and maybe we return to that same kind of cadence throughout neutral. It's probably going to be something we see repeated quite a bit throughout this set if it goes any longer than this 1 stock. But Burst is doing a good job of slowing things down, making sure he's not taking very much damage, and he needs to in order to get as much as he can out of this game.
Gotta find something here. Every stock matters, but Cloud right now. Limit about to come online, roughly 60% here onto Burst. Nair landing on shield, and Crash doing a good job of holding center stage, but waiting for their one moment. Parries the cross slash, but won't be able to get anything off the back of it. Double Nair into the side B will get some extra damage online, and now versus that kill percent.
Oh my god, what a call out!
Air dodge, what a call out, what a read, and once again, neck and neck are these two teams.
Spacing backwards against Burst, not going for what he could confirm on there for low effort, just getting the up smash and doing away with that one well before Burst can do any more damage to their roster. That's exactly what Crash was looking for coming into that matchup. Just clean that one up. Once again, evening up the stock count. We got 2 fresh players from each side. Crash getting his a minute or so in the game there of stage side warm up going into this one. Talking a little bit more strategy. They've got 2 players to choose, or well, 2 more players coming up for him. So what he's really looking to do is just keep that going. So that same kind of finesse and prowess going up against these next 2. See how much he can take.
And I love the kind of energy that these Smash teams have brought to the table. In Michigan State in particular, it has been so fun watching them kind of roam around that setup. And that's one of the things, right? Is it feels like it's like moth to a flame. They find each other and they're like, oh, my player is playing, in a singles bracket. My player is about to step up, and they just get so hyped for each other on the stage as they kind of roam around and find each other. And they'll do that. They'll coach each other in between those sets. Once one set is done, they'll say, hey, you need to work on this, or why are you playing like this style? Tone it back a bit, or hey, get more aggressive in these areas of the game. So a lot of coaching for the side of Michigan State. They all know each other very well, and they all know each other's tendencies, and that's what they're working on right now. And UIUC, a very veteran group, all like with Michigan State, they all know each other very well.
Yeah.
But it feels like that experience. It feels like that coaching is not necessarily as much of the case because they all know, what my character does, what the matchup kind of brings to the table. So we'll have to see who UIUC opts to send in here for their
Cypher as the option into Crash. So he's looking to be another really heavily bursting character where one neutral exchange can absolutely be a touch of death from either of these. Falco's up tilt, especially in a character of that middling heavyweight like Terry, is really susceptible to a lot of bread and butter combos. He can't do much to get out of anything once Falco gets a hold of him. His grabs are going to get full value. His up tilts are going to get value at just about every percentage range.
I feel like this type of matchup is just so pendulum-esque. It's so explosive, right? One neutral interaction just means that half your stock is easily gone, and that's what Cypher has been very good at, as they're going to get a couple of these drag-down combos early, quick 48 dealt. Crash looking for their opening to try and respond as they've got stage control, but those projectiles, those lasers, could be something that can really help Cypher hold their lead for a long period of time. But there's that opening. They find the grab on the platform, they get the up B, and just like that, we're back to a tied percentage.
Yeah, basically even, this is a really tense neutral, as neither one of these really want to put out too many moves in neutral, so it's very movement-based, not any attacks. Ooh, because you can be punched very easily and very heavily by either of these on dead even percentages. Ooh, Cypher takes that neutral B and almost gives the window of opportunity to Crash to get in for his grab. He gets a power dunk here for some easy 20%.
Good reflect there as well, and now you're looking at kill percentages for really either of these characters, mostly Cypher, as they're at 105 here. You see those jabs being thrown out, but nothing landing quite yet. 90% on Crash. Good up tilt into a back air. Not quite yet, though. Go now online means that surely Terry will be able to convert a stock if they get their opening.
Yeah, both at absolute kill power, and the first stock taken of the set goes to Crash. He's now holding in shield, trying to keep away, but he can't really do that against Falco. He's got the fair, which is great for shield poking. Up B is going to be just enough to get Crash back in here and keeping up the pressure against Cypher as he takes the mid stage, once again holding up in shield, waiting to see something come out. But yeah, the grab, he's just asking to get grabbed right there.
Low recovery once again. We've seen Cypher go for these down airs a couple of times, but this time he will catch him jumping with that back air, and that is stock number 1 off the board of Terry.
Yeah, a very even matchup here. These two have an interesting interplay. It's nothing super bold, nothing crazy. It's in the subtleties of the way they are approaching each other. These up tilts are going to come out. I think it's going to be pretty much the same as what we saw earlier. Up tilts and Nairs finding full value, but Crash once again used a wave dash to get down off the platform.
Good early damage online right now. 75 onto Cypher here, and they're looking for their way in. Another forward air used, but another grab comes through for Crash. They're looking for their opening, but instead it's these drag downs again of Nair that are doing so much work. Another up tilt into a back air. Is that enough? Yes,
just close enough to the edge.
No need for Go to be online here, so that's going to make taking this stock for Crash even more difficult. Right now, Falco 113. Cypher continuing to play aggressive at these high percents. Is that uppy going to do it? Yes, it will, and it's last stock scenario once again.
Another one off the top, dead even on stocks once again. It's going to have to be one of these teams coming out and just breaking that standstill. Cypher bringing his way back to stage, avoiding the wave across the bottom of the platform. Grab with a couple pummels, just going to position Cypher off stage. That way Crash can get right back to the center, using his forward air to keep the space once again. He's doing a great job of defending center.
Good grab though. Drag down a forward air. I like the idea, but he ends up landing on the platform, and Terry gets to escape for that reason instead. So now maybe a chance. Crack shoot in. Good damage online here, and I worry about these percents for Falco because of Terry's kill power, and it feels like Cypher's going to have to really work to find that next opening, but they may not have the time to do so, as the jabs will land into the up B, and Michigan State retake the lead.
And Crash taking a phenomenal spot, not just as the one who put down Burst, but taking 3 more stocks for himself, already doubling what his teammates have put down. So really taking that forefront for the team so far in this matchup. He's just got one left, though, to bring up against Kirby 509 on the other side. This is going to be our final UIUC player. They're down to the wire. It's got to be Kirby 509 taking down not just Crash, but also Dice, another Falco player. We don't get we barely missed, just ships passing in the ninth. These 2 Falcos for the Ditto that we're fingers crossed for, but the odds just won't be there.
Not today, and excuse me, that is something that Crash has got to be proud about because they are playing fantastic right now. And for the side of Michigan State having that lead, for something that, UIUC has been in the lead for most of this series, it feels like. For Crash to have this kind of impact is massive. To take down Burst, to take down this next player, now to get to the last member of UIUC, such a huge turning point. But this is where things get rough, because Kirby, like we mentioned, on this Olimar, it is death by 1,000 cuts, but you have to be very careful, because Terry, with Go online, death by 1,000 cuts means they get to kill power faster.
Yeah, and Olimar is so darn light. He dies pretty darn quickly. So Kirby 509, while a very skilled player and one I would definitely put up on the anchor spot, as a spectator, as a fan of UIUC, as one of his member teammates, it is like he's like the most stressful one to have on your back spot, because it is tedious, it is a mental challenge, and he brings that to all of us as we watch. We have to just go, will he get that damage? Will he be able to avoid that kill? He just has to keep finessing. It's outplay after outplay.
So far, so good in terms of mitigating the early damage. That was something that was a huge emphasis in the Hawk series that Kirby played against. They were just getting so much early percentage that it was just so difficult for Hawk to battle back in that matchup. But right now, decently played by Crash here, only 58 taken, and they've already gotten this Olimar up to 84, but Kirby with stage control for only a moment, going for those grabs, looking to find that conversion, looking to try and take the stock early if he can.
We were so close to seeing one of Kirby 509's signature up smashes. Whenever someone lands on with the purple, he had it perfectly timed, he had it anticipated, but he just had just a little less time, not enough time to set it up, and it's enough time for Crash to find that kill. He has just continued this reign of terror. That's the slash on my tick marks across my papers. He's got a solid 5 to himself, almost doubling his value. He's finding another combo here up B to continue this 40% already on Kirby 509. Rising there, and he's just gonna, oh my god, take a crazy call out, taking out another stock. That's 6 in the bag for Crash. He could take this one away if he's just able to find a couple more combos on Kirby 509. Go power already online.
Michigan State is losing their minds on stage, but it's going to be the up air with Purple Pikmin that will shut down the run from Crash, but the damage has been done. It's a 3-1 scoreline. Kirby on their last stock here in the opener.
A crazy run from Crash. There's no way he could not be the MVP for this match, or for this game. Oh, it's game 1 of this series. We're going to have a run back of all of this at the very least. Kirby 509 taking a lot of damage right there. 2 of his stocks gone in basically the blink of an eye. Crash has showed us like the craziest callouts I've seen probably all weekend just in this crew battle. the forward smash we saw him do, like in his first stock.
He fought through a whole Pikmin. Like that,
yeah.
That was insane. And the call out for that play all along the ledge, you think Olimar would be able to get back safely, but the reads that Michigan State have right now are crazy to see.
Yeah, that is phenomenal, and that's exactly what you need from someone playing such a high-impact burst character. You have to have the gumption to go for crazy reads, because that's what's going to get you ahead. And playing the attrition game, especially against someone like Kirby 509, you can't let the attrition game go off. You can't keep taking damage. You can't give them an opportunity to pick up one of those up smashes whenever you get lax. Just the more time you spend in game against them, the worse it gets for you. So something fast and something crazy is just what it takes.
And that is Crash's style. They like to go for those early kills. That's what we saw against Burst, right? Going for those early kill options, trying to get the upbeat kills at around 80, 90% if they can. Going for those kills, trying to set it up on the platform, trying to get those stocks eliminated very, very quickly. Dice entering the ring here as the last member of the Michigan State Spartan squad. This Falco has been locked in all weekend long. Can he close out this final stock off of Kirby 509 and get the first round win for the side of the Spartans?
All right. Little red Pikmin perishing on stage, separate from the rest of his brethren. Oh, a couple more Pikmin going by the wayside there. Now we'll pick up a couple more, get all set back up, perfectly up with the red, yellow, blue. Nice basic primary colors to start things off.
So something I remember hearing in passing is that Kirby 509 has a decent read on this matchup, or at least has experience in this matchup, not just because of the local Falcons, but I believe they've got friends who play this character very frequently, so they are very familiar with the matchup and how to go about it. But Dice's Falco, like we've mentioned, is just a whole nother beast in particular. So the question is, how quickly can they adapt in a matchup like this?
Yeah, Dice has done a great job playing against Olimar. He is really making a lot of use of his shine. It's going to have the extended reflector, and he uses it especially for purple Pikmin, and that gives him so much time as a rushdown character, and with a fast dash speed as well. If he reflects a purple, it actually put Olimar in enough, and like that, he can usually come up with a dash attack if nothing else. Down tilt doesn't quite confirm at this percent, just slightly out of it. Up tilts look kind of scary, but Olimar is short, and that's going to be actually a big benefit of him. He's tall enough to get hit by the lasers, but not quite enough for that.
I like that use of the down B as well. Don't see that too frequently, but that down B with a little bit of armor, so single hits can be shielded at times. But right now, still a long road back for Kirby. They will find this up throw, but it's not going to be able to take the stock quite yet. Good DI from Dice.
Yeah, and it was a blue one too. So that was the best possible opportunity with the purples and blue to be looking for an opportunity for a grab. Still, the purples are great. These are the kill confirming Pikmin. They do so much damage, they basically turn them into a heavy, especially when you've got two of them online. You get that blue one for a little bit more flexibility. But we're going to lose a couple as here, at least the one as we recover back on. Dice is doing so much to bring this back. He loses his first stock here, but with 97% already on Kirby 509, he's feeling pretty fresh.
Feeling pretty strong, pretty good about it so far. Purple Pikmin online with Flower too, so extra damage going to be a factor here potentially, but really Dice looking to try and take this stock soon here. 127. Like you mentioned, the longer this game goes, the more it favors Kirby 509. And so Kirby just trying to slow the pace of this game down, but they might run out of time. The forward air will be enough to do the trick, and it's a 2-stock victory for the side of Michigan State.
Yeah, does finish this one off. Dice having to play pretty well in order to keep up with 509 right there, but he's still pretty dominant through that second stock. We get a reset here, and we'll put everybody back in. Everybody's here once again because we're going to game 2. While MSU does have that advantage, game 1 to themselves, that does not mean that they're out of the fire yet. Still fighting it out in losers finals at this point for the chance to get back to that run back. Both of these teams really want the chance to rematch Northwood.
Yeah, the Northwood sitting in grand finals right now has been playing fantastic, and that's one of the storylines that is interesting to see coming into this matchup. Again, Michigan State, our top seed, entering loser side a little bit earlier than expected, but they've been on a tear ever since. UIUC getting off to a slow start, but heating up as the tournament has gone on, and Northwood, a school that is sitting on winner's side, but they've been a school that has been so close to taking that crown numerous times. They've just never had that right opportunity. There's always been that one team that's playing hotter, that one seed that's just a little bit higher, but this looks like it could be their chance. But we'll get to that when we get there. We've still got at least one more crew battle to get through here as Michigan State, they are one crew battle away from getting that run back in Grand Finals.
Yeah, crunching down on the throat of UIUC at this point. We see the barrel 15 more stocks could be all that keeps UIUC from elimination from bracket and a sure third place. Already, all these teams are guaranteed in top 3 and in the money, even better. We love to see that for the players, but any more is worth so much more, not just for the money, but for prestige and the confidence of having done your best and really gotten the payout from it off of your weekends.
Especially for a player like Burst, for example, who's won that singles bracket. Winning one bracket is insane. Winning 2 brackets on the same day, that is a whole nother beast in itself, especially at the collegiate level. So UIUC, it's a long road back as they're going to have to find a way to win the next 2 crew battles in order to get to that grand final, and then even if they do, they're going to have to get that loser side run back against Northwood. So that is a tall task. There's a lot of stocks to be taken. But UIUC, they've got a flexible lineup. I'm curious to see what adaptations we see headed into this next set because, like we mentioned, 7 players for locked in for the side of UIUC, so they can flex a few more matchups here and there. And when we've talked to crew battles in the past, or SSBU crews in the past, a couple of them have cited the fact that character variety is such a huge factor in matchups like these. Knowing what types of matchups you can play for is such a huge kind of wrinkle in the game plan for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I think the big thing on the table for UIUC, they have to be thinking, what are we going to do about Crash?
Right.
Crash is the problem. Takes 6 stocks. Phenomenal. He starts with Burst, goes all the way through Cypher, and keeps it going, taking stocks off of Kirby 509. Like, that's 3/5 of the roster that you end up bringing to that crew battle. Like, that is a wild performance to be bringing down, especially against the caliber of those 3 names as well. I mean, again, Burst won.
I mean,
1 singles. So that's pretty crazy to be able to get that stock and have that as the beginning to that ripping roar. We'll see if he's able to keep up that same kind of pace as our clear MVP game 1, and we'll see if there's any solutions here. Maybe one of the earlier players that didn't get a chance to go up against him, like Noodle or Vampire Queen.
We also didn't see ISOHEL, who had a fantastic run on the opening day of crews for this UIUC team, right? Their link looked fantastic, which is not necessarily, when you look at the character matchups, maybe not the greatest here or there, but still a very strong player in their own right, can certainly do some damage. So I'm curious to see if that kind of lineup change comes through.
I'm liking what you're thinking there. I think the link matchup at Terry is actually really strong in favor of the link. So if ISOHEL is up for it, that might just be the opportunity. Interestingly, should on paper be pretty good into Kazuya as well, another character that is definitely one to be feared. But my advanced intel tells me ISOHEL isn't actually too comfortable into that matchup, doesn't have a great winning record on Kazuya, so he's definitely going to be trying to avoid them just personally as a player until he's got really shored up that matchup in specific, and it's one that's more relevant all the time as more and more players move over to Kazuya.
We also didn't see SVP in that lineup against Michigan State, and that Inkling could also be interesting to watch because, again, no really other Inklings in this bracket. There were none, I think, locked in for any of the crew battle schools that were participating in this tournament. So another kind of unique matchup to try and work against here as we're getting ready for crew battle number 2. Players locked in for the opener here. Michigan State, if they win, they are on to grand finals. And this time, Kirby, they are staying on stage. They're no longer the anchor. They're the leadoff man.
Yeah, the complete opposite of what we saw previously. He's going to be clanking his Pikmin, this time off of lasers and tops coming out from Hawk. We've gone to Battlefield, which definitely has a large benefit for Rob, especially with his up throws, his up airs, and his up smashes.
So far, again, an early lead built up. And remember, this was the matchup to qualify for top 8 of that singles bracket. So
a great
Kirby,
run back to have.
A very, very strong player and knows how Hawk likes to play. But Hawk also kept it very, very close here. And once again, an early lead built up by Kirby in this duel here on Battlefield. And center stage control and gyro control now for the side of Kirby.
He's doing the top straight up. He's going to keep it busy for the longest amount of time. He was hoping for it coming back down, but it might have just despawned before he's able to get over there and get it. So it's back in Rob's pocket. Hawk has used it up along with the laser. I don't think he's going to have any charge here left, but he's going to land that back here. Not quite killing Kirby 509 at this percent, but he's willing to go very low. No Pikmin left means that Kirby 509 can take the full distance of his up B, and he happily will and totally reset neutral with it.
I like the idea to go for that back air as well. Just barely mistimed it and misspaced as Kirby's able to escape for the moment. Good forward air on the yellow Pikmin, but Kirby gonna to find something along this ledge. Landing there was huge, but the down air getting through that platform. Hawk thought he was safe, and in fact he was not. Maybe now a chance here as they'll battle for stage control once again. Shielding that laser, trying to find a way to fight through that gyro. Maybe a chance here, doesn't find the grab, and there's going to be the up smash, and that's going to be Kirby dropping the opening stock.
That is so rough for him. He's thrown out kill moves. They're just looking to barely clip Hawk with them, and they just couldn't quite, and ends up turning quite the opposite direction with such a strong move, taking the kill pretty early for Hawk. He's chasing Kirby 509 pretty hard, trying to land one of his tilts. It's not going to work out. Smash Deck finishes off that stock and evens them up pretty neatly. Kirby 509 only on 20% so far as he throws some Pikmin to take on a little bit more.
Very even game here. No Pikmin in hand, only 2 in rotation, so one just spawning, unable to get that next swing and get even more damage online. But look at this gyro combo.
Oh my god, the top
B.
combo!
It's not enough to take the stock quite yet, but look at the threat here, using a lot of the fuel in the tank on that upbeat to try and linger out there and use that back air, but unable to find the mark quite yet. But certainly Kirby has to feel a little worried after letting that combo happen.
Hawk going for some slow aerials there as Kirby 509 follows him, gets a couple free up airs, throws out some purple Pikmin to try and buy space, but Hawk has gotten in regardless of throw, adds a couple pummels and a smash attack to finish that one up. Kirby gets ahead once again in this opening bout.
Huge stock there as now Hawk on their last one. And a lot of work to do when you look at this Olimar with that one purple in hand. It's going to be hard to take the stock very quickly, and already the damage being chipped away at here. Hawk at 54, Kirby only at 90. It just feels like Hawk has to work so hard to find this stock.
Yeah, Kirby 509 is doing a great job of engaging these options that Hawk has been showing us, like the side B. Rye does a great job of getting up right at the end of it on ledge for his invulnerability, get a grab, and a pretty great punish. He's already built up 75% on this stock with Hawk basically not landing more than 2 moves on this one. He's taking a little bit extra damage over time. Land on Kirby 509, I would not advise.
Very, very dangerous spot, especially with those purple Pikmin, but now they are off the table. White Pikmin will continue to chip away at that damage, one of the more damaging ones, but the good follow-up here. Jab lock, but he dash attacked instead. I think he wanted to run up forward smash there, but now he's underneath the stage, has to get back, and he will try and up air, but still not able to connect quite yet, and now things look very dangerous. As Kirby's able to take the stock, a full 2-stock lead could mean so much.
Oh my God.
What a huge down air. You saw the up smash about to come out.
Yeah, just barely before the hitbox came out. It was well into activation. Neither of them getting the full punish off of that moment, but at such high percentages, there's the pummels. I don't think that, does not quite kill. He doesn't get close enough to the platform in order to get the advanced range, and despite Olimar being quite light, it's not enough damage.
Good nair as well, but still not enough to take it. Laser connects 163 on this Olimar. Kirby 509 surviving for so long, but the very last hitbox of that nair will connect and even up the stock count.
Yeah, great move right there. One that's pretty safe to throw out, and especially at such high percentages, you really should be doing so because it's easy to fish 4 kills. He's looking to use that now as a combo start. It really does just about everything for Rob. The one problem is it's slow start up.
Dangerous fight here for center stage, and Hawk really trying to bring this one back, but they have to play perfect here. They're at 150. Good throw off stage, good gyro as well. Jump used, chipping away at the damage, and Hawk not really going to care for it, right? They're 1 hit away from death, so they'll take the extra chip damage if it means they can try and take this stock back. But right now, dangerous play here around these platforms, trying to get a grab here, looking for some kind of opening. It's going to take maybe another 2-3 really neutral interactions for them to get back into kill percentage, but they're at 181. Low recovery again. How much jet fuel do they have left? Can they get to the other side? Maybe an air dodge incoming? Oh, there it is.
That is beautiful from Kirby 509. Yeah, he's seen this one before. We've seen him skirting across the bottom of the stage as well. I love the use of the back air, a quick movement to get back over there, but Kirby shuffles his little Olimar feet all the way across the stage, and if it's not a down air, it'll be a down tilt to take that one away. And at such high percent, it's still going to do a lot of damage. I think it was force attack because of the funny shaped hitboxes, and that actually ended up creating him at an even worse angle that the down tilt normally would have. And with no jet fuel left, or rocket fuel maybe, whatever fuel Rob is running on, he didn't have any more of it. He's not going back at all from there.
Yeah, very, very smart. Very well read by Kirby in that situation. And they now hold the lead for UIUC via 1 stock. Michigan State, they're going to have to debate as to who they want to send in. Last time, we saw Dice as the anchor step in to deal with this Olimar. Do they opt to use Dice early this time?
That is a darn good question. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like they're deep in contemplation about this one. So we'll see what the eventual answer is for this. Hawk not getting, well, I guess actually you got the same amount of value as he did previously. 2 stocks off there on the lead, so that's kind of what you're looking for. Kirby 509, though, feeling a lot better. He's already 1 stock up on his performance in Game 1. So that is a nice thing for him to be seeing, and he's got the potential to keep doing more. And he's going to start on that 1 stock, but playing from behind, he has no problem with that. Especially what we just saw in that game. We thought it was going to be pretty quick for Hawk, just taking away those first 2 stocks from Kirby 509, but he made so much value out of his final life.
Yeah, very much the case. Is Michigan State debating here who to send in, down a player, but with the lead. Looks like Linus, or yes, Linus will be locked in as that next member here. The Rosa Minmin Bowser stepping into the ring here to go up against this Olimar. Rosa Olimar is another one that we really don't see all that frequently, so maybe he switches things up here and goes with one of those other characters, but based on what we've seen so far, if it is the Rosa locked in, it feels very like a very odd matchup.
Yeah, it's a little funny. They do a lot of sending the funny little guy to go do the fighting
Yeah.
for you. It's the Pikmin versus Luma duel to the death.
The puppeteers.
It's sending all the plushies on your bed to have a death fight in the arena.
We'll have to see who gets locked in for the side of Linus, as it is going to be Rosa and Luma, as we hear in our headsets and we see on stage and we see on screen here. Rosa Luma, Battlefield the pick here, and I like this pick for Rosa Luma, but I feel like Kirby already kind of, comfortable on the stage.
Yeah, definitely having a nice time with it. I don't see it doing a huge amount for like extended combos and such. I'm not sure if I'm missing the value because he is really comfortable going here very often. That's something I gotta put that on a reminder. Gotta put that in notes to go ask him about this one, because he keeps coming up every time I'm watching him play, because he ends up on here very often. He's just absolutely abusing Luma, and now he can get at the real target, Rosalina, much less protected now without the extended hitboxes from her little friend.
Good jabs, though, will knock them away for the moment here. That's something that I think Linus has really tried to do a lot, is get these grabs and see if they can find a way to follow up, which is going to be easier said than done. But these jabs are really what are getting the chip damage on Linus. Kirby 509 will opt to upbeat to the other side of the stage, go underneath that platform, and there's really not much Linus can do about it for now. They'll opt to just play patient, back away, and absorb those Pikmin.
Oh, yep, forgot about this one. It is a big problem in this matchup. Actually, pretty good option to have Rosalina into most of the options that UIC actually brings. We saw it being really impactful to have limit a combo break up against Vampire Queen, and here against Olimar, it really stops his game plan just throwing out these side Bs, getting lots of chip damage off of the Pikmin, as long as you have some time to throw out down B. And, ooh, Kirby 509 was putting on enough pressure to keep those off, but now he's gone too high, and the Battlefield is definitely not going to be helping him out there, dying off at the top.
That's one of those weird situations, right, where you feel like, okay, I got hit by Nair. It should be fine if I just hold in or hold away. And all of a sudden, Luma's on top of you again with the up air. And even without Luma, that up air is still very strong. And that killed relatively early. They didn't even reach 100%.
Yeah, light characters, they do that sometimes. They just explode when you get the right options. So, moving through that, I think it was really interesting to see Linus using his jab, especially the jab string, really well as an anti-aggro tool, because Kirby 509, he's got only 1 stock left. He wants to make this one go as fast as possible, try and maybe cheese some out if he can, as much as Olimar has the capability to, especially against someone who's so immune to chip damage. So he knew that that's his game plan. He's going to try and rush down and use some burst options. That's why he kills Luma so fast, get him off the board. That way there's so many less defensive options for Linus, but Linus was really patient in shield, waiting for the right opportunity, looking for parries, and then using his jab strings to just add some extra damage. Nothing crazy off a jab string, but it keeps him off and gives you some time, especially with a long, rapid jab. It takes a while for that to actually finish off, and that's more time off the timer for getting Luma back. And once he had Luma, it made it really, really difficult for Kirby 509 to get in again.
And Luma and Rosa and Luma benefit so much from time, not only to allow Luma to come back to stage or respawn, but also just the fact that Rosa and Luma benefit so much from being able to set up those combos to position Luma in the first place here. So a huge factor is that kind of change of pace for the side of Linus moving forward. Curious to see if that will be the case here as we get ready for our next matchup.
Yeah, Isahel here locking in the intrepid Link player. This is one where the projectile eating ability of Rosalina is definitely going to be pretty impactful. Both arrows from his bow on neutral B and really impactfully his bomb.
Yeah, that bomb can be absorbed in and then it becomes yours, I believe. So already we're seeing the bomb thrown out a couple of times. I saw on this Link. First time on stream today, I believe. I'm not sure if they were using that Northwood battle, so we'll have to see how they do here against this Rosaluma. Doing a decent job of controlling the pace so far.
I love that. Using Boomerang as an opportunity to bounce bomb off, and I think the bomb would be pretty limited in the matchup, but Icel's doing a great job of making sure it's going to hit, and he was having crazy mix-up with them, 56% already in his there we go, first use of the sword, still at 0%. His bomb's been giving him insane value, getting up there with the up air, continuing this thing on, already triple digits, and Illuma dead, throwing out another Boomerang. This could set up for a kill confirmed, and it's the bomb instead, baiting out the down B option. Isel playing so smart and just cleaning out that stock 0 to death.
Huge stock there from Isohel to take that 0 to death, and they're already working on stock number 2. You can see some of these tricky setups, even down air, a lingering hitbox means that Linus has no real safe way to approach from the ground, and now continuing to pressure this Rosaluma off stage. Now maybe a chance here, bomb on stage, but they won't get the detonation timing right. That neutral get up just perfectly timed by Linus, but they're still looking for some kind of opening. Finally, Rapid Jazz will get something on the board here, but only about 30-ish% here on Isohel.
It's really hard for Linus to get in right now. Isohel has had all of the reads, especially with his projectiles. He can't even let Linus get close at just about any time. So these percentages now just starting to rack up on Isohel, but he's still feeling very comfortable dropping the bomb right above Linus. It is always in a perfect spot to keep that pressure up. This one's not going to quite land, and this one ended up right back on the platform. That's actually a great place for it to be here on small battlefield, where the platforms are lower, which means that the explosive radius is going to sweep a little bit further to the left and right for players standing underneath.
Especially on a character like Loom or Rosa, who's so tall, right? That hitbox can kind of be a benefactor for Isohel.
Yeah.
It will cover more space and potentially catch Luma or Rosaluma a little bit easier. Right now, Isohel, again, controlling center stage so well, throwing out these projectiles, finding the combo as well. Really well done.
Even
the
through a
parry
parry.
not even mattering.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't push up on Isohel right here. He's got the bomb to protect him until you grab. Now he can't put in that input, and it's lost to him for a little bit. Downer isn't going to quite two-frame him, so he's still safe. It would kill if it did land, so it'll be huge for Linus, something that he's looking for, especially as Isohel is once again having to come back to stage. His bomb recovery is going to take him well past that line of defense, but Linus has just been waiting for his up smash.
Able to fight through that Boomerang at the sacrifice of Luma, but that up smash still as dangerous as ever. So tie game in terms of the stock count, but when you look at that percent, you got to worry here about Linus. They're at 152, and Rosaluma typically on the lighter side of the cast, right? So it feels like Link's got plenty of kill options. It's just a matter of time, but right now it will be the bomb that's just going to do it outright.
Just throwing it right at the shield. If you drop shield, you're going to die. Otherwise, I'm probably rushing at you with my sword. Drawn Boomerang going out once again, and bomb. Ooh, yep, giving a little bit of hit stun as well in order to give enough time for it to explode. He's just tacking on damage. He hasn't had a lot of luck with his arrows, so he's really focusing up on Boomerang to set everything up. Even if he loses out, gets punished for something, it's going to be a combo breaker on the way back.
Good forward air to knock Isohel away. Low recovery here. Great
He saved him.
Tech. Huge tech there, but yeah, that was absolutely a dead Link in that situation. So, well, we take those. We'll get a second chance at life here, and when every stock
And
matters,
he's gonna make good on it too.
Give another chance back. Isohel cleans up Linus's last stock, and UIUC are in the lead.
A second chance at life, and maybe even a second chance at giving death there. Isohel looking so good coming out against Linus, and that's a matchup where a lot of Link could potentially be shut down by that down B, a really pivotal move for Rosalina and Luma. But Isohel just rocking it here, getting back up on the stage for today and showing us there's a reason he's still on the crew, not just showing the last time. He's here for those counter picks. He's taking some time off in other matches so his teammates can really shine.
I love the awareness from Isohel, right? You talked about how that down B can really mess up the way Link likes to approach, and with a lot of the kit, right? A lot of those projectiles are the bread and butter of Link. But in this situation, he knows that, and so he's using that first projectile as a bait frequently.
Yes.
And so when you see that down B come through, it's not just, oh no, there goes my Boomerang, there goes my bomb. they are already moving closer, ready to approach it, throwing that next projectile. We saw that on the first stock, right? Using the boomerang, thinking, okay, that's the projectile I have to worry about, when instead it's the secondary bomb that comes in and is able to secure the stock.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm not throwing the boomerang to hit you. It's not for damage, it's for putting you in end lag because the sword or the bomb is going to hit heavier, especially on ledge guard situations where it can just kill outright. Falco coming up here from Dice on the other side. This is a very different matchup. The sword range is going to be kind of nice for Isahel, but up tilt he is not immune to. It's a great combo starter here for Dice, and something that's great if he's able to pull up in shield, if he's able to get close enough to Isahel where he can eat those initial neutral options and punish with an up tilt for combos.
I do really like the pick, though, because of that reflector, too, also shutting down the projectiles that Isahel really likes to throw out. Opting for Battlefield again here, very frequently used this time around, as opposed to the typical PS2 and Town and City that we've frequently seen. So we'll have to see if you can get potentially some more extensions for both sides, really.
Yeah, Reflector definitely going to be impactful once again for Dice. He uses it really well, I think it's a treat to see where he can capitalize off of it more than just getting a projectile off of him. He can find great combos off of it. He's got this platform working well to his advantage, but he can quite land the up tilt. Isahel barely sneaking away from it, but another reflected bomb adds some more damage. Isahel not nearly having the same time that he was having against Linus early.
31% here on Dice, looking for their opening, trying to chip away at this stock, looking for that one opening combo. You can see them searching for it via those up tilts, and now maybe a chance here on this platform. Good air dodge back there. You could tell Dice is just waiting for those defensive options, but now Isahel, the kind of emphasis on the pace of play is on them. What can they do here? They're stuck on the platform, though. They're going to get up tilted into a back air, and again, these early damages are coming online via that up tilt.
And he'd be doing even more right now if he was able to land a couple more of these up tilts while Isahel is running around on the platform just above. At 116%, one more of these could be fatal for Isahel. Here it is. There's the back air, but it's going to be a weak hit. Not quite getting what he wants. Isahel going for the bomb recovery to get to the other side of the stage and buy quite a bit of space. He's moving forwards, threatening with his forward airs because those could really get something started for him. He doesn't land that up tilt either, just playing through the middle.
That's twice now that Isahel has used the bomb recovery in a row, but this time around he'll be able to just snap to the ledge, bomb reflected, pick back up, but maybe a chance here, holding that bomb right along their shield, just waiting for their one opening, but sneaky there, dipped under the up air with the crouch and the down tilt, very, very strong.
Dropping back here. Dice is looking to find his next in, taking this one from 0 up, but he gets punished by a couple nairs there, dropping with down air. It's not going to land, but this boomerang does set him up perfect for the up smash. Isahel hasn't found the damage he needs, so he's having a struggle getting in against Dice, especially without Reflector.
Bomb going to be only finding a shield here. Dice doing the best they can to hold on to this stock, but you got to wonder with that sword from Link, how much time do they have? Great ledge trump idea, but oh no, he felt the up B. Will it be able to get him back?
Good tech there to keep him up.
Huge opportunity. Now the side B will knock him away. A good drag down, and this is a lot of damage headed Isahel's way.
Up tilt there is going to stop the pressure. Finally looking for a forward air coming in. He's got the bomb back in his recovery. Oh, down air there is going to finish off the kill back, but with the bomb, Isahel throwing that one out, so he's not able to get back into his inventory for now. He's just going to have to pick it up later after he's gotten out of this high pressure situation, stuck up on the platform above Dice. This is exactly where he wants him. A reset with the up tilt. The second one isn't going to land, though, from below, and he's grabbed in exchange.
Huge opportunity for both of these teams here as Dice only 36% on their second stock. Can they find a way to close out Isahel? 80% right now on this Link. They're going to get the nair off stage. Soft hit of down air. Maybe now a chance with an early air dodge used. Link gets back, but only for a moment. The pressure is on. Look at the chase down from Dice. They're just consistently reading this movement and moments away from finding another hit. But now look at the juggle game come online here from Isahel.
Yeah, we are moving into the down air section of this. It's the only thing that's really going to kill outright for Dice, other than an up tilt right into back air. He's got the double jump, 88% on him still. He was pretty safe at that point. Isahel really getting shut out by Dice.
Huge chance there, and Dice only taking minimal damage in the process. Dropped one stock, but getting that member off the board is huge. And what's interesting to me is that those up tilts to back airs, right? Getting that soft spot was very odd because Dice has been so consistent.
Yeah, we see a funny one.
It feels like he, 9 times out of 10 and twice on Sunday that he hits those. But the fact that, in that instance, that sour spot, it didn't end up meaning too much because they're still able to clean it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't have killed at that point. I think it was like 80%.
Yeah, roughly 80%-ish. So Dice still, though, very, very strong. And it feels like Dice, the more they play on that stage, the better they are in terms of getting a read for their opponents. Because in those final moments, on that last stock, the chase down that they had on ISO, but the moment that they overextended, look at what ISO was able to do. Quick 60%, I think, racked up roughly from those up airs.
Yeah, ISO just had a couple real moments of light there against Dice. He was having so many problems in neutral, though, which isn't something you'd anticipate with that character matchup. But the Reflector, again, I cannot overstate how well Dice uses Reflector. Every time I see him going up against his owner, I'm like, not a great matchup. And he just turns it on its head.
And now we get to see the debate here from UIUC as to who to send in next here to try and deal with Dice, who has been one of the star players for the side of Michigan State. They made it the farthest in that singles bracket. They have been locked in on this Falco. I'm curious to see if this is the time they opt for that Falco ditto, because Cypher's Falco has looked very strong in the past, but that is a dangerous prospect to see.
Yeah, I think statistically wise, I probably wouldn't trust it as UIUC seeing this one right up on the board. It's just, especially from the placements from yesterday, it's just not necessarily marked in your favor. Yeah, okay. It's going to be Fade here coming up for this next one. It should be Bayonetta going up into Falco. This is a matchup, like we said, pretty bursty. Both of them are looking to wait and break neutral really heavily in their favor.
I'm curious to see what the neutral will look like between these two because of the, like you said, the burst of both of these players. How do you get in on these characters? We saw Queen Vamp in that opening series go up against Luma, where they really had to work to, kind of get in vertically, dip in towards Luma, around the Luma. But in a matchup like this, really, you don't want to pressure the shield of Dice because they're throwing out that up tilt, and all of a sudden it's happening to you. That burst is going to be reversed onto you. So Queen Vamp, I feel like the emphasis is on them to be able to kind of change the pace of this matchup and pick and choose their times to weave in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. The stock's still very, very close between these teams. No one's able to run away with anything. Not since we saw that crazy run from Dice in match 1 between these two teams. Otherwise, everyone's getting a couple stocks, maybe going even, maybe going a little positive, but just trying to keep these things up. So Queen Vamp here on UIC with just 1 stock of lead up in their advantage. Dice just having 2 stocks on this one. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a neutral B matchup.
Guns versus the lasers. Which one will come out on top? I guess we'll find out here as Dice, like you mentioned, stock disadvantage, but certainly able to make that comeback if possible here, but Queen Vamp not going to make it easy on them. That being said, they get the grab and they're getting the early percentage here. Another couple up airs landed and picking and choosing when to pull off on those combos. Again, gets 2 up airs, not going for those back airs early here, knowing that that back air, you don't want to stale that out. You want to leave that for when those kill percents come online.
Queen Vamp here knows that just crouching is enough. Bayonetta low profiles through the lasers, so that's actually going to be something to just force Dice to break neutral on this situation. She's had a hard time breaking neutral in her favor, using the up as a bait, Nair as the continuation. They're finally finding some forward airs. Ooh, here we go. Not quite, I guess, though. Saibi not connecting into anything else, dropping with an empowered Nair.
Very even in terms of percent here. There's the back air, but again, not quite enough to take that stock quite yet, but I like the plan here from Michigan State. A lot of the players who have had these really high performances, they take these stocks so early. They're willing to go for those kills at the very early red percents, and right now, Queen Vamp certainly trending that way. 110 on this opening stock for them. Forward air will land all the hits, and that's nearly a stock off the back of it. Laser threatening, will catch that next one, and they don't have their jump
she's already
left.
used the reset.
Already used that reset, like you mentioned, and that's the first stock off the board.
That is a rough one to see for Queen Vamp. She's not having a great time finding her way in at all. 2 combos, really good ones, getting good damage, but she's having such a hard time finding her way in. Even when she's found some great reads, she hasn't found the punish off of it. Dice is really sneaky with his movement. He's able to SDI down left to get out of that one, air dodging back to stage, and once again, he's looking to just stop her from getting back.
Huge chance there for Queen Vamp to try and clean things up. They want this early stock. They're going to hold that forward smash and get even more damage online, although there's no kill coming through quite yet. But maybe the forward airs will do the trick. No, the corner not far or not close enough to hold Dice in. But now 162 on this Falco. Feels like 1 strong hit should do it. We saw Queen Vamp throw out a couple of back airs in scenarios like this to call out jumps. So maybe that's what Dice is to worry about here.
Yeah, she's going to keep the threat up. He really doesn't want to approach that, especially on the back of this 162% life. He's eaten a couple of them on shield, but that's exactly what he wants. He gets quite a bit of time back. Bouncing off with the side B off of his shield. Queen Vamp is having a hard time getting in once again as the percentages rack up to 60% already, and not even just off of lasers. This is just a lot of trades going pretty favorably for Dice until he finally falls into a backer, losing that stock and going down to his final one.
One stock lead here for UIUC, and they're already chipping away at Dice's last. The anchor of this squad might be going down very soon here. The conversion is there. They might find another hit, but no, Dice able to escape for the moment. And I'm also interested to see Dice. It feels like they've got a game plan for the types of grabs that they want to use.
Oh my god, just narrowly killing off the top. No one expected that one coming up. Such an early kill. This is going to definitely hurt for UIUC as the stocks have evened up and that stock lead has fallen by the wayside. Dice is going to be feeling really good about that one. 79% is not too bad. He could make this work.
Seemingly out of nowhere, that up air killing, it killed very, very early. So Queen Vamp just caught a little bit off guard. But now you're looking at Falco at 110 here. Do they find their opener? They've gone for a couple of drag downs specifically with that forward air, but now they find the up tilt, up air. Second one does not land, but they're continuing to juggle here along this platform. The down B does not connect, and so even more damage coming online, and we're starting to trend towards the red.
Queen Vamp just trying to buy some space with her movement. Both players racking up the damage, like you said. The lasers coming back out to play once again. And Queen Vamp is just trying to buy some space. Bait out an option from Dice. She uses her own side B to try and close the distance, but ends up getting punished for her down tilt up air. Hitting this is not quite going to kill, though. Last one killed at 104 after damage, and we were all very surprised. So maybe there wasn't full DI in it.
Yeah, I feel like the DI was a little suspect on that last stock forward throw. Won't do the trick from center stage, but that will start to kill relatively soon here. Neutral get up, forward air's not landing, and a lot of these aerials will start to look very, very threatening very, very soon. There's that back air, but not the strong hitbox. 147, double side B, grab, forward throw here. Is it enough?
Nope.
No. Good DI here from Dice, 163. How do they get back to stage? Another grab
I think this one does it.
That will do the trick here. The forward throw takes down Dice, and UIUC are back in the lead.
Queen Vamp absolutely taken by surprise, especially that 104% kill off the top. Just an up air straight. She did not know if that was going to be that much of a problem. Dice knocked out, though, as Queen Vamp brings that one back, clutches up in the dead of that final stock, and now things are quite evened up. Just one stock up for UIUC.
What a turning point of this matchup now. Michigan State down to their final two members here. They do have this set to play with, but still, they would like to get to that grand final as soon as possible because they feel like they are heating up. But the problem is Queen Vamp looking very, very strong right now. The fact they're able to shut down the anchor of that last round in what was a very dangerous match, a very explosive match, they're able to clutch it out. So Queen Vamp looking to try and heat up here. Michigan State, 2 players remaining. Who do you opt to send in next?
Well, here's the thing. We are moving into a new chapter of this game from here on. Both Suspect and Crash have been left up. Akazia and Terry. So this is going to be a very certain kind of gameplay that we're going to be seeing going forward here.
Yeah, the fighting game representative is about to step into the ring. I believe this is Suspect stepping into the ring here for the side of Michigan State, and that is the Kazuya that we mentioned earlier. So Kazuya going up to try and take down this last stock of Bayonetta here.
Yeah, real touch of death matchup here. Absolutely. And that's how a lot of this is. A lot of the characters that we're seeing played. I mean, I think like Kirby 509 and Burst are probably like the ones. Noodle definitely players standing out as, or even Hawk as well with Rob. Characters that are not crazy touch of death characters, but we have a lot of them in the bracket overall today. Apart from the zoners, we got a lot of zoners in this region. But apart from that, a lot of these touch of death characters that can just do so much, so fast with so little.
They run it back to PS2 here. 2 stocks off of Queen Vamp to start this one off. Can Michigan State find a way to tie this game back up, or will UIUC be able to extend their lead? As the question as we get ready for this one. What is the emphasis on Queen Vamp here to do to try and take this stock? Because they're all
It's exactly that. Start with the fair, get those
up.
upbeats. That's great. 32% right off the bat. Not finding anything here, though, as 48%, even more off of a fewer moves, comes out from Suspect. He's really going to take up this mid space as Queen Vamp has to give away the area. She does not want him coming close unless it's in hit stun.
pressuring that platform here. Suspect a couple of times has really tried to heavily read a couple of these landings, and that's going to be really difficult to do, especially with the movement Bayonetta has in the air. As you can tell, Suspect really wanting to take this stock very early, throwing out a lot of heavy moves, and now they're getting punished for it. Stuck along this platform here, even more chip damage coming online here from Queen Vamp.
Yeah, both of these players pretty much even here. Big combos to start things off. Up air is going to keep some distance. Queen Vamp still struggling to get back to stage, and the two of them just passing those combo starters, nearly hitting for either player. And this individual trading is definitely very advantageous for Suspect. He does a lot more damage per hit, as we've been seeing pretty clearly.
72% here on Suspect. Queen Vamp's going to need a little bit more damage before they really start to get into those kill percents or that combo starter, but Suspect very aware of it, hanging out underneath those platforms.
The up B out of shield, that's going to finish this one off in favor of Suspect, not losing a single stock to Queen Vamp and putting himself in a very nice spot. 2 players left for both sides at this point, Suspect and his teammate Crash behind him. On the other side, it's a mystery hodgepodge here. Burst standing up. I don't know if that's to indicate anything at all. They've got a couple options still left since they actually have 4 players up. Yep, looks like Burst coming up.
Burst stepping into the ring here to see if they can gain a lead here for UIUC. Burst, again, we talked about them, couple different characters in their kit. Curious to see which one they opt for, knowing that they're going up against the Kazuya.
That's a good darn question. I mean, didn't he bring
We saw Cloud the first
into
time
Kazuya
around.
last time as well?
Yes.
Into Suspect as well. So maybe they have ended up coming to a different conclusion about what they want to do about Kazuya, and instead their answer is, yeah, Burst's Cloud. This one did take quite a bit off of Burst. That was a really close one. Burst losing 2 stocks, actually, while he took those 3 off of Suspect. So a matchup definitely in his favor already, but Suspect showed us he's very, very capable of making this one work. Finally stopped from his combo with an up air, or down air coming down elastic hitbox. He gets a grab, but no up tilt coming out of it.
Came down to the last stock the last time these two met on this stage, but 71% here earned very early by Burst to the 51 and Limit about to come online. There's another cross slash and Limit now online here for Burst. Parry, though, going to lead to a little bit of damage. Good shield here on the Limit cross slash. Rage Drive, maybe a chance at an early stock here. We've seen Suspect willing to pull the trigger on a lot of these early kill moves, but so much pressure here being applied by this Cloud.
Recovering really quickly there, yeah. Waiting and finding his option for the grab. He missed a punish earlier, so it's good for him to find this one. Ooh. And dropping with the plummet. He gets a big hit. It doesn't quite finish off Cloud, though. Well, I guess it does with the amount of range is just taken off him. He didn't have time to get Limit. Actually, he might have survived if he had immediately started charging to get that extra recovery range, but I don't think he knew that he needed it.
Yeah, it was very, very close, very difficult to read, but Burst falling there very early, 142 onto this Kazuya. You'd think their stock would fall soon, but still able to survive off of that back air. 158 now, another upbeat back to the ledge. Burst waiting, playing patient, nice. And then recognizing, hey, that ledge invincibility is gone. Dash attack covers, and they'll even up the stock count once more.
Yeah, and it's such a strong move that he has access to. One of his many, many moves that can basically just kill out of neutral if you get a right call out. Big damage there on the Limit side. Be gonna just tack it on. He's going for another one as well. He's just breaking it out with that Buster Sword.
Calling out Suspect for being a little bit too patient here, but now maybe a chance here. Follows up with a Nair, looking for something that up B back to the stage. Maybe a turnaround here, but another up B out of shield will continue to chip away at Suspect's damage. Up smash again, nearly connecting, nearly the stock off the back of it. Rage Drive offline as well. 141 trying to follow up here, but a third will do the trick,
smash.
And Burst takes the lead.
That is some beautiful stuff from him. He's feeling really comfortable. Yeah, waiting out the Limit. Going to make sure that's forced out early. You can play defensively real quick because you know that that's going to come out pretty much immediately. Paralyzer goes out, 4 hits out of jab, and he's going low, looking to try and find something more on Burst, especially since he's already in those triple digits, 111%, just right above Suspect. Now he uses it back here to try and space out a little bit more. Down tilt's going to start things, but yeah, there we go. Up air starting, and the Nair doesn't connect.
Good damage right now, 140, but Limit's also about to come online. Air dodge there, tricky, hadn't really used that all day, and the up air also going to chip away at the stock. Suspect now forced to recover high, air dodge is back, doesn't grab the ledge, threatening so many options. The dash dance around, nice. But the Limit cross slash does not land. Won't be able to take that stock quite yet. Suspect won't be able to find the up B either, and Burst surviving and getting the reads as well.
Heavy character, though, won't go down to the up smash quite yet. Another cross slash on shield. A phenomenal tilt right out of that is going to finish off this one. one for Suspect, and once again, these two are going down to the wire. Burst has a nice heavy lead, but 2 grabs and a paralyzer. No connection off of that remaining, but 40% is quite a big boon to Suspect right off the bat. He's getting hit with this forward air. His Burst is going to follow. He's been doing great in these ledge trapping situations, but doesn't find anything this time.
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen Kazuya's in this exact situation pull off these comebacks. So Burst not out of the woods quite yet, although they've got their opponent into the red. Maybe a chance to convert here.
Okay.
Forward air to knock them away. Oh, they get the parry as well. They missed the command grab, though, and Burst is going to be able to survive.
That is so, so close. That was definitely going to be perfect into an upbeat. The connection is just missed by Suspect. Well in kill percentage. He's going low. Going to have to use the upbeat. It's not going to quite connect with down air, and neither will dash attack connect. Neither will the down air either from Suspect. These two are getting real close and personal in the center stage. Up smash coming out, but it doesn't have any juice.
Ooh. That dash attack nearly connecting. Back air, knocking him away once more. 156, but we saw the down air take the stock last time. Will it be enough this time?
Go.
Yes, it will. That lingering hitbox below the ledge gets the job done, and Burst once again shuts down the Kazuya.
These two, once again, a compelling matchup. Last stock, last hit again. It's the mind games that keep going, but it's Burst that comes out 3-2 both times. He's only got 1 stock left, though, in this powerhouse player for UIUC, and we're down to our final MSU player.
And that is going to be Crash from what we've seen. That Terry that did so well in that opening battle, taking 6 stocks, I believe, overall in that first battle, and nearly, shutting down Burst was one of the big factors. They came in and took down the Cloud without being scathed, without losing a stock in the process. Can they do so again here? Because this is their final member in round number 2.
Yeah, we're seeing a pretty similar cadence. Kirby509 moving up to the top and Ice Hell being brought in. But Crash is now in that same position where he's got to take a bunch of stocks in order to really bring his team back in the lead. This time, the onus is entirely on him, though.
The emphasis on his gameplay. Now, we've seen Crash go for a lot of early kills, and in particular, I'm thinking about the platform setups, trying to find ways to kill with that up B. We have not seen them go for, well, a lot of the go moves, Power Geyser or Buster Wolf. They haven't had the opportunity to do so. I'm curious to see if that's the mix-up headed forward here, because Burst really hasn't given them the window to go for those moves.
Absolutely. But Burst isn't able to keep out from these bursty characters, even with the sword at his hands, as we've seen from these matchups continually with Suspect. And it was Crash that was able to finish off Burst last time. I don't think he lost the stock in that matchup either. So that was what started his absolute tear earlier, 6 stocks in a row. So this is something that has gone down already and gone down in favor of Crash.
Burst will have to drop the opening 2 stocks of this duel, as it is a 1 stock lead for the side of UIUC. The Fighting Illini trying to fight to survive here in this bracket. Michigan State, if they end up winning this crew battle, they are on to grand finals, but it's a long road back for Crash 101. Can they shut down this 1 stock of Cloud Burst?
Yeah, Sword Art isn't going to break through the shield. No poke either. Back air here is keeping the pressure up as, ooh. No, Burst is going to land right on Crash, and you do not want to be doing that on Terry. Now the neutral Bs are going to start connecting and buying a little bit of space. The Nair lands here. Dash attack as well, and limit up. We'll see what option he chooses. That end leg could be a great punishable opportunity, but it's a couple up airs for Burst.
This is where things get very dangerous here as we start to trend towards the red. Limit cross / burn, so that kill option off the table for now. But Go should come online relatively soon, especially if Burst finds one more opening and gets something like a back air or Nair combo, so something to follow up. That being said, Burst has to be very careful here. A lot of kill options on Terry, a lot of them quick. We've seen dash attack thrown out a couple of times just in those spontaneous moments, especially with Burst trying to battle back their way from the outskirts of the stage.
Overall, MSU has a just phenomenal movement, especially throughout neutral. They're able to do a great job of commanding neutral space and forcing the movements from UIUC players who don't really like doing that in general so much. So when they get aggressive, they can get punished just like that, where Crash once again is able to shut down Burst without losing one of his stocks and keeps himself in a great position. This is exactly where he needs to be for this 1v1 that's going to ensue as we finish off this match potentially. MSUA does have one game already in their favor, so if Crash can get this one, if he can take these last 3 stocks in a proper 3v3 stock battle, he gets to take it away for MSUA. The whole match is on him right now.
The whole match is on his shoulders, and he's already getting coached up, getting ready for this next match. And now you look at UIUC, who has the ability to counterpick, but they've already lost 4 of their members. You've got 3 in the pocket to pick from here, and it's nothing really, I think, sticking out to me as a really kind of advantageous matchup.
Yeah, so we'll see. He had a great time. Crash against, he took that first stock from Burst previously, took 3 from Cypher, and took 2 off of Kirby 509, just dominant spots. So these are the players that you might not immediately be thinking, well, I want to send them right back into him after his just dominant performance. Burst, of course, already down at this point. Kirby 509 going out early instead of being the anchor for this one. I think Noodle is standing up and moving on up there. It makes a lot of sense. We Fit Trainer into Terry is a really favorable matchup. He's got so many projectiles. Terry has neutral B, which doesn't activate in the air. It's just going to be a burst in front of him if he is up in the air. Otherwise, it's going to cover the ground. And We Fit Trainer is just about never on the ground.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, that projectile that Terry has, the fact that it is grounded, I don't think it will clash or stall out the projectiles that We Fit brings to the table. Maybe the soccer ball if it hits at the right angle, but that is a very kind of one-off scenario, and that is something that we've seen these Wii Fits be able to do time and time again. Like you mentioned, constantly jumping around, constantly off stage as well, just stalling out for things like deep breathing, stalling out to get the rest of their projectiles ready. So we'll have to see if that is the type of game plan here for Noodle, as they are their last hope for UIUC to stay alive. The hometown team is on their last breath here. A 3-stock scenario, 1v1 to decide who moves on to grand finals and who gets to battle back in this bracket.
Yes, Noodle, final representative of Champaign-Urbana here, pairing these projectiles right off the bat. It is going to be a bit of a zoning game, at least to start off with. None of these soccer balls, none of these sun salutations finding their mark quite. And Crash is once again just buying space for himself. He's waiting for the aggressive option from Noodle. This one might be a little slow if they keep playing this way, and especially with all the pressure, they do not want to mess up.
You do not want to make a mistake, especially the punish game that we've seen from both of these players, right? They have been very, very solid with their punishes. Noodle, though, we'll have to see what they can do here. Deep breathing online, trying to fall in with that landing there, and they're able to land some up tilts as well. Just get some early chip damage, but this is also something that worries me, right? When the deep breathing comes offline and Go starts to come online for Crash, those high percent scenarios, I'd almost favor the Terry, but you got to feel like you got to get to that portion of the game in the first place, and Noodle eating a lot of early damage here.
Yeah, down tilt jab string is a solid bulk of additional damage. These two just continuing to rack up percentage. It's going to be pretty fast. I think it's going to be one of these where one person takes a kill and the other one immediately follows up with that clap back. A small combo coming out from Noodle, but he buys some more space after he loses it. Soccer ball just buys enough time for him not to get hit.
Go now online, but can they make their way back to stage? Yes, Crash is able to shield one. Maybe a chance here, but he rolls behind, looking for something. Looking for a down tilt, possibly. And then you see that foot extended, but he ends up getting comboed into the up air, able to survive here. Opening stock could mean so much, especially with Go and deep breathing online. Soccer ball to knock them away once more, fighting their way back onto stage, brawling, looking for any kind of opening, but Noodle giving no room.
That shield drop is going to be pretty painful for Crash, keeping him off the ledge, and it is just a barrage. Every single sport utility item going off the edge, coming right at Crash. He's having such a hard time. It's the forward tilt that finally does it. He's covered in hitboxes. Noodle throwing out an arm in every direction, and just getting up is going to get you right into that forward one, the strongest one as well. It's not going to be too long, I don't think, before he picks up the stock either, though Crash has been doing so well in this matchup, and it is just these two players left over in the end. Nairs aren't going to be hitting the mark until this one with the drag down. Up tilt doesn't break through shield, though.
And the up B will do the trick here off of that down tilt on the platform. That a little bit of extra height paying off there. So back to a tie game, but it is a big percent lead here for Noodle, and I like the way that Noodle's been playing a lot of creative options, using these odd hitboxes of Wii Fit, and also getting these early damages, being able to pressure that shield, because no real quick clean out of shield options for Terry, especially with the positioning, the way Noodle is approaching.
It's really hard to stop Noodle from getting back to stage. He's got these projectiles. He's got this great floaty movement. He's got up B for changing the pace at which he actually comes on back. So great options for Stall. He gets grabbed here once he does come back to the stage, though. Deep breathing online as he buys some space with the soccer ball, buying some more. Again, just moving back a little bit, making sure he's not within Terry's burst range, especially with Go online and with Rage nearly maxed out. And there we go. There's the Buster Wolf coming out, but it doesn't quite kill. Not from center stage and not at just 114%. A little bit of healing coming out off of deep breathing.
Got to be very careful here. Those forward tilts, especially with all this rage, could be the stock. Ends up forward tilting him away. Soccer ball will be knocked away as well. Look at how even the percents were. But this is the conversion into the up B, and down goes Noodle. And all of a sudden, UIUC are on their tournament life, but they might be able to answer back with this forward tilt. Nearly 150. Soccer ball snipe. Nearly another chance
for a second
down
one.
B back. They're going to get the spike into
There
the stage
we
as
go,
well.
Noodle.
It's last stock apiece.
This is the perfect photo finish if this is what it's going to be. Noodle still fighting to keep them in this for that game 3. He needs to win this one for UIUC to still have that hope to keep in the hope for the championship and the rematch. Gets hit with the side B, taking plenty of damage. Takes a little bit of time to breathe.
The movement of these two players is critical, vital in this scenario. You see Crash even wave dashing onto that platform to follow up, knowing that Terry turns around and constantly faces his opponent. Now a chance here, you saw him go for that forward smash, but Noodle just faster to the punch, and now continuing to chase him down here, has stage control. What can he do with it?
Noodle is starting to feel himself, just chasing Crash around, but he's gotten a little bit too greedy. He gets hit with that grab, still buying himself some space on ledge. He gets hit with the down tilts, and that's plenty of damage. He's now really in the danger zone. He's got the deep breathing, trying to heal just a little bit more, try and get this power back on so he can find a kill himself. Drag down there, up air. Looking for this back air that he could kill with just a couple moves. If he's able to find them here, jabs coming out, but not the ground. Down smash would be a huge call out for the roll.
Go online now. Soccer ball snipe. Still has his jump though. It should be able to get back here. Down beat back on the spike. Not going to be able to kill quite yet. And now stalling out. Slow pace here. No one wanting to make that final mistake. Forward tilt on shield. Both trying to play so safe. Back here on shield. Nothing landing. But the shoulder will be
Takes
called
it away
for
for
UIUC.
UIUC now out of the tournament. MSU taking this one. They get their chance at the rematch. They are in grand finals now, loser's side.
Unbelievable run from both of these teams, but it is the Michigan State Spartans getting the win over UIUC down to the wire. Last hit, last stock, but the Terry shoulder, that dash attack, colder than ice, shutting down the run back.
Amazing stuff there from Crash. Absolute MVP for the team. He did not choke when the pressure was absolutely on in the bottom of that set. Takes 6 stocks in the first game. He's going to be the one to look out for when we move on up to grand finals. You can see the camaraderie between these players. It's been a long weekend. They played so many matches against each other. MSU and UIC seeing each other in so many matches of pools and here today as well. Getting a long time going in 2 full crew battles between the 2 of them. So a good amount of camaraderie built up over all of this competition with each other. It's a beautiful thing to see between them and the rest of the schools. UIUC happy to go home with their 3rd place. They don't have to that far to go home, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it hurts to have the home team lose, but it was Michigan State who came out on top, and they have been just the fire of this squad, right? The fact that they brought so many people, so many competitors to this tournament, and they have just that camaraderie, right? You mentioned about the kind of conference, you know, this tournament in particular, so many teams are so familiar with each other that they're all very friendly, and they all know, you know, who plays who, what stages they like. They're all so familiar with each other, but Michigan State coming up clutch in the final moments there, getting a 2-0 victory, and now they get another shot at Northwood.
Yeah, and that'll be it for me. We're going to go to a break. We'll be back with our grand finals and with a fresh set of commentary, and it's going to be an absolute banger as we get to see this run back. So don't tune on and off. Don't go anywhere. Stay in here. Get ready to watch it.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.